Years passed after the Accord fleet turned away from the orbital elevator. The solar system settled into a cold peace. Trade resumed under strict rules. Ships from Earth carried goods to Mars and back. Inspectors checked every crate. No weapons, no troops, no surprises. Mars grew richer. New domes rose higher. Underground cities expanded. Children born in low gravity learned to walk on red soil and dream under thin skies. Earth never forgot the sting. The Senate changed faces over time. New leaders rose. Old grudges faded into quiet talk. But the military remembered. They studied every recording from Phobos, from Valles Marineris, from the elevator stations. They built new plans. Not loud ones, not fast ones, patient ones. The chance came during a rare alignment. A comet passed close to Mars, rich in water ice and rare elements. Earth claimed salvage rights under an ancient convention. Mars disputed the claim. The comet would graze the atmosphere. Some would burn up. Some would hit open plains. Earth announced it would send a recovery fleet to collect fragments. A scientific mission, they said. Fully civilian, fully unarmed. Mars watched the approach. Sensors tracked 7 large haulers, escorted by 12 stealth destroyers. The destroyers carried marine contingents, heavy gear, drop pods. The haulers hid boarding craft and weapon pods under cargo bays. The plan was elegant. Use the comet as cover. Land recovery teams near key domes. Secure landing zones. Then declare the site's neutral zones under international law. Hold until Earth could negotiate from strength. Admiral Victor Kane led the operation. He was young for his rank. Sharp mind. No scars yet. He believed the Red Triangle teams were overrated. Myths built on surprise. This time there would be no surprise. The fleet arrived during a quiet Martian night. Pieces broke off and streaked across the sky like slow fireworks. The destroyers moved into position. Drop pods launched toward 3 main domes. Recovery teams followed in heavy landers. They touched down soft on the plains outside New Cydonia. Marines formed perimeters. Engineers set up portable scanners. They began collecting ice chunks. Everything looked peaceful. Then, the first Red Triangle team appeared. They came from underground tunnels no one knew existed. Small hatches opened in the regolith. Figures in blood-red uniforms rose like ghosts. They wore thermal cloaks that matched the cold dust. Visors dark. Rifles fitted with suppressors. They moved in squads of 6. No sound, no light. The first Marine perimeter vanished in under a minute. Shadows struck from behind rocks. Knives to throats. Silent takedowns. Bodies dragged into shallow craters. No shots fired. No alarms raised. Admiral Kane received the first garbled report. Unknown hostiles. Red markings. Losing squads fast. He stared at the tactical display. Dots blinked out one by one. Launch all reserves, he ordered. Secure the landing zones. More pods dropped. Hundreds of Marines poured out. They advanced in tight formations. They used drones for cover. They fired warning bursts into the air. The killers answered. Captain Sophia Larson led one of the main counter teams. She positioned her people along a low ridge. They waited until the Marines reached the open plain. Then they opened fire. Not wild, precise. Smart rounds found joints in armor. Knees, elbows, shoulders. Marines dropped screaming, but alive. The killers advanced. They zip-tied the fallen. They took weapons. They moved on. Major Matthew Brooks coordinated from a mobile command rover deep in a canyon. He watched feeds from helmet cams. His voice stayed low. Echo Team, collapse the east flank. Foxtrot, hold the central approach. Do not pursue beyond the perimeter. The battle spread across the plains. Marines pushed hard. They used mortars, They called in strafing runs from low-orbit shuttles. Explosions lit the night. Dust rose in thick clouds. The killers used the dust. They moved through it like fish in water. They flanked. They ambushed. They disappeared. Every time the Marines gained ground, a new team appeared behind them. Cut comms, cut power, cut lives. One Marine company reached the edge of New Cydonia Dome. They set breaching charges on the outer wall. Before the timers finished, figures dropped from above. Grapple lines from the dome rim. Killers landed among them. Hand to hand, knives against bayonets. The charges were disarmed. The company scattered. Sophia Larson fought in the center of it. She took a round to the leg. She kept moving. She directed fire. She pulled a wounded teammate to cover. She never stopped. By morning, the comet had passed. The plains were littered with disabled pods and empty armor. Marines sat in groups, hands bound. Guards in red uniforms watched them. No cruelty, just control. Admiral Kane sat on his bridge. Half his force was gone. The rest drifted without power. Small black devices hummed on key systems again. Reactors cold, weapons silent. A channel opened. Sophia Larson appeared on screen. Helmet off, face dirty, leg bandaged. "Your scientific mission is over," she said. "Your people will be returned. Your ships will leave. Do not come back." Victor looked at her. He saw the same calm he had seen in reports. No hate, no triumph, only duty. He gave the order. Full withdrawal. The remaining ships limped away. They carried their wounded. They left their dead under Martian soil. On the surface, cleanup began. Teams recovered gear, patched domes, honored the fallen. 23 killers lost their lives that night. Candles burned under the domes. Senator Olivia Grant stood on a balcony overlooking the city. She looked at the stars. "They keep coming," she said to no one. Matthew Brooks joined her. His uniform carried dust and blood. "They will stop eventually," he answered, "when they understand we mean it." Sophia limped up beside them. She leaned on a rail. "Or when they run out of people to send." Olivia smiled a little. Sad, tired, proud. The red planet turned beneath the stars, quiet again, strong again. Children in schools learned the stories, not just the old ones, the new ones too. They learned why Mars never sent soldiers, because soldiers fight wars, killers end them. And when the killers wear combat uniforms with a small red triangle over the heart, the lesson stays simple. Mars belongs to Martians. Anyone who forgets will remember. The hard way. Time passed slowly after the talks. Months turned into a quiet year. The Velara drift changed. Wreckage was cleared away, piece by piece. New domes rose on the moons. Lights stayed on longer each night. Children played in open streets again. Traders came and went without fear. The war felt like a bad dream that was finally fading. Kale Vorin still sat at his outpost console. The screens showed peaceful scans now. Cargo ships instead of warships, repair tugs instead of fighters. He kept logs anyway. Habit, duty, something deeper he could not name. Human ships still patrolled the edges of the sector. Not many, just enough to be seen. Liberty's Edge stayed longest. Captain Ethan Cole walked the colony paths often. He listened to complaints about broken water lines. He helped carry supplies when a storm damaged a roof. People stopped calling him Captain after a while. They called him Ethan. Familiar. One afternoon, Kale watched a small ceremony through a ground camera. The colonists had built a low stone wall near the main dome. On it they carved names. Not just human names. Everyone who died in the fighting. Vorath, Liran, local settlers, all together. No sides marked, just dates and quiet words. Sophia Lane stood at the wall. She touched one name, a Marine who had covered her during the last push. Her fingers stayed there a long time. Sergeant Lucas Grant stood beside her. He did not speak. He just nodded once. They both walked away slow. No tears shone, but the weight was clear. Lieutenant Noah Ellis flew overhead that day. Not in a fighter, in a light transport. He dropped packets of flower seeds over the new fields. Children ran to catch them. Noah circled once, waved from the cockpit, then flew back to the carrier. Captain Mia Lawson took her ship on longer patrols. She watched distant jump points, not to hunt, to make sure no one tried to start trouble again. When a lost freighter appeared with engine failure, she sent tugs. No questions asked, no bill sent. The galaxy noticed, slowly. Other sectors sent observers, small delegations. They came to see for themselves. They asked the same questions Kale once asked in his own mind. Why did you fight? Why do you stay? Why do you help, even those who tried to kill you? Ethan Cole answered the same way every time. Because the strong must protect the weak, or the strong become the monsters. No long speeches, no demands for gratitude, just truth spoken plain. One day a Vorath Hive envoy arrived at the drift, not in armor, in a simple transport. Zeth-9 stepped out. Its shell looked different now, less sharp edges, more rounded. It met Ethan on neutral ground, a quiet landing pad under open sky. We have changed our patterns, Zeth-9 said. The hive mind remembers your resolve. It teaches caution. We no longer expand without thought. We ask permission now. Ethan listened, nodded. That is good. Zeth-9 clicked softly. We returned something else. Coordinates of a lost human colony ship, from before the war. Survivors may still live. Ethan took the datapad. His hand stayed steady. We will look for them, thank you. The Vorath left without asking for anything in return. Kale watched the exchange. He felt something loosen inside his chest. Not fear anymore. Not awe alone. Something closer to hope. The Lyran sent a message next. Not through diplomats. Through open broadcast. Short, formal. Our council acknowledges the error of aggression. We withdraw all claims in this sector. We offer technical aid for reconstruction, if accepted. Olivia Kane answered for the humans. Accepted. We will work together where it helps the people here. No victory parade followed. No medals handed out on live feeds. Just engineers from both sides, meeting at work sites. Sharing tools, sharing ideas, building side by side. Years later, Kale requested transfer. He wanted to see more. He left the outpost, took a small scout ship, traveled to other sectors. He heard the same stories everywhere. Humans appeared when needed. They fought hard. They stopped when the danger ended. They helped rebuild. They left when asked. No empires grew from their victories. No subject worlds. No tribute fleets. Just quiet lines drawn in space. Cross them and hurt the helpless, and humans would come again. Kale stood on a neutral station balcony one night. Stars stretched wide above. He thought about the old saying spacers whispered in bars. The stars shun humans. He understood it fully now. They shun them because humans carry a light too steady to ignore. A light that shows every other species their own shadows. The shadow of hesitation. The shadow of greed. The shadow of fear. When humans charge into battle, they do not do it for glory. They do it because letting evil win is worse than dying. That choice forces everyone else to look at their own choices, and most cannot bear the comparison. So the stars stay quiet. They watch from far away. They do not approach too close, because getting too near that light makes even the oldest empires feel small. Kale looked down at the station lights below. Ships came and went. Different flags, different hulls, all moving without war drums. He smiled a little. Small, private. The galaxy had learned something. Not from force, not from fear, from example. And examples last longer than empires. Kale turned back inside. His ship waited. New sectors called. He would keep watching, not because duty required it anymore, but because he wanted to see what happened next. When humanity stood firm, the stars did not just shun them. They began to learn from them. The fourth wave never came the way anyone expected. Kale Voran waited at his console for days. Sensors swept empty space. No new signatures, no jump flashes. The Vorath and Lyran fleets had vanished deeper into their own territories. Scouts reported quiet shipyards, no mobilization, no angry broadcasts, just silence. Kale thought maybe it was over. Maybe the humans had broken their will completely. Then a different signal arrived. Not military, diplomatic. Encrypted channels opened. Requests for talks. Not from the Vorath or Lyran high commands. From lower castes. From colony governors. From traders who had lost everything in the fighting. The message reached Liberty's Edge first. Captain Ethan Cole read it on the bridge. The text was short. We wish to discuss terms. Not surrender. Not alliance, understanding. Ethan looked at Commander Olivia Kane. They are not asking for mercy, she said. They are asking to talk. Ethan nodded once. Set up a secure link. Neutral relay. No fleet movements. The meeting happened in virtual space. Hollow images appeared in a plain gray room. No flags, no guards. On one side sat 3 figures. A Vorath drone master named Zeth9, a Lyran junior admiral named Vara Kale, a neutral mediator from a small trade guild. On the human side, Ethan Cole appeared alone. Plain uniform, no rank pins shining, just calm eyes. Zeth9 spoke first. Its voice clicked soft. Our hive mind felt your resolve. It disrupted patterns. We lost coordination because we could not predict you. You did not flee, you did not rage, you simply continued. Vara Kale added in smooth tones. Our platforms fell because your pilots flew paths we deemed impossible. Your ships took damage we thought fatal and kept firing. We wish to know why. Ethan answered without pause. Because someone has to stand between the strong and the helpless. If not us, who? The Vorath clicked again. You could have destroyed our carriers. You stopped when we retreated. We do not fight to erase, Ethan said. We fight to stop the harm. When the harm stops, the fight stops. Silence followed. The mediator spoke next. The colonies you saved, they speak of you now. Not as conquerors, as guardians. Our people want to know if this protection has a price. Olivia Kane's image joined the link. No price, no tribute. No bases on your worlds. Help rebuild what was broken. Trade fairly when you are ready. That is all. The Vorath tilted its headplates. And if others attack again? Ethan's voice stayed level. Then we answer the call again. The link closed. No treaty signed that day. No grand promises. Just understanding. Seeds planted. Weeks passed. Small changes began. Vorath drones stopped patrols near human space. Lyran beam tests moved farther away. Trade ships appeared at colony docks. Not many, cautious. They brought medical supplies, building materials, food packs. Humans accepted them. Offered fair exchange, no suspicion, no demands. Kale watched it all from his outpost. He saw human engineers land on Vorath border moons, not to conquer, to teach. They showed how to reinforce domes against asteroid strikes. They shared simple shield designs, not weapons, protection. One day a Vorath transport docked at Liberty's Edge. Not armed, not escorted by fighters. A single diplomat stepped out. Tall, shell-polished but plain. It met Ethan Cole in a small conference room. I come to return something, the Vorath said. It held a data crystal. Inside were coordinates. Lost human escape pods from earlier battles. Locations. Status. Some still had survivors. Humans had searched. Found none. The Vorath had. Ethan took the crystal. His face did not change much, but his voice softened. Thank you. The Vorath clicked once. We learn from you. Resolve is not weakness. It is heavy. We carry less of it now. It left without more words. Kale felt something shift inside him. He had spent years watching species clash. Winners took. Losers hid. Humans did neither. They gave back what was taken. They taught instead of ruled. They stayed dangerous, but chose peace. On the moon colonies, life returned slow. Sergeant Lucas Grant helped rebuild walls. He worked beside colonists now. No armor, just tools, sweat, laughter when a beam fit right. Sophia Lane opened a small clinic. Humans and locals used it. She treated a Vorath trader who cut his limb on sharp metal. No questions, just care. Lieutenant Noah Ellis flew supply runs instead of combat. He dropped crates of seeds, building kits, toys for children. He waved from the cockpit. Kids waved back. Captain Mia Lawson commanded patrols now. Quiet ones. She watched borders, not to invade, to warn away trouble before it started. Ethan Cole walked colony streets often. People stopped him, thanked him. He listened, nodded, moved on. One evening he stood on a hill overlooking a new dome, stars bright above. Olivia joined him. They are starting to trust us, she said. Ethan looked up. Good. Trust is harder to earn than victory. Kale wrote in his log that night. Words came slow but clear. Fourth phase. Aftermath and understanding. No fourth wave arrived. Instead came talks, returns, small acts, observations. Humans did not demand submission. They offered help. They returned what was lost. They stayed dangerous, but chose quiet. I saw a captain accept thanks without pride. I saw a pilot deliver hope instead of death. They charge into battle not because they crave it. They charge because the alternative is worse. The stars shun them still, but the silence feels different now. Less fear, more awe. Because when humanity stands firm, even the strongest begin to question their own ways. Kale turned off the console. He looked out at the drift. Wreckage still floated, but new lights shone on the moons. Small, steady, growing. He understood completely now. The stars do not shun humans out of contempt. They shun them because looking too long at such resolve makes every other species feel the weight of their own hesitation. And that weight is hard to carry. Kale Vorin kept watching. Days turned into weeks. The human fleet did not leave Velar adrift. They stayed longer than anyone expected. Repair crews worked around the clock. Shuttles carried supplies to the damaged colonies. Engineers helped fix broken power grids. Medics treated civilians side by side with their own wounded. No one asked for payment. No one demanded thanks. Word spread across the sector. Traders talked in quiet bars on neutral stations. Diplomats sent encrypted messages. Everyone asked the same question. Why do the humans stay? Victory was won. The enemy ran. Most fleets would leave after a win. Humans did not. Then the council acted. A formal delegation arrived. 3 ships, 1 Zenari cruiser, 1 Tormi transport, 1 Ares scout. They requested a meeting. Neutral ground. A small asteroid station near the edge of the drift. Captain Ethan Cole agreed. He sent Commander Olivia Kane to represent them. She went alone. No weapons beyond a sidearm. She wore her standard gray uniform. Clean. Simple. Kale tuned into the meeting feed. The station had open cameras. He watched the delegates sit at a round table. Lyra Voss spoke first. She was the Zainari lead. Her voice came clear through the audio. Your intervention saved 3 colonies. We are grateful. But we must understand. Why reveal your strength now? Why stay after the fight? Olivia Kane looked at each delegate in turn. Her face stayed calm. We stayed hidden because the galaxy has too many wars already. We watched, we waited, we built. When the Vorath and Lyran turned on defenseless people, we could not watch anymore. We stay now because the job is not finished. The colonies need time to rebuild. We give them that time. A Tormi delegate raised a paw. You could have taken the drift, claimed it. No one would stop you. Olivia shook her head once. We want peace for those who cannot fight for it. When the colonies can stand alone, we will leave. The delegates looked at each other. No one spoke for a long moment. Lyra Voss leaned forward. The Vorath and Lyran are not done. Our scouts report new fleets gathering, larger. They want revenge. They call it honor. Olivia's eyes did not change. Then they will come again, and we will meet them. The meeting ended. The delegation ships left. Kale felt the air in his station grow colder. He knew what came next. The third wave arrived without warning. No grand announcement, just sudden jump signatures at 3 points around the drift. Vorath Hive dreadnoughts, Lyran Armada carriers, mixed support ships, numbers that made Kale's screens flash red warnings. This time the enemy did not charge straight. They learned. Vorath drones came in waves with shielding fields. Lyran platforms used long-range fire to pin human ships. They tried to surround, to isolate, to crush piece by piece. Ethan Cole stood on Liberty's Edge Bridge. He studied the tactical map. They adapted, he said. Olivia Kane nodded. So do we. Orders went out fast. Split the fleet. Carriers pull back behind the asteroid clusters. Use cover. Draw the platforms in. Destroyers and cruisers form mobile strike groups. Hit and fade. Ground forces dig in deeper. No fixed lines. The human ships moved, not as one big wall this time. Small groups, fast. They slipped between asteroids, used wreck fields, emerged for quick strikes, then vanished again. Captain Mia Lawson kept her carrier group hidden in a dense rock belt. She waited. When a Lyran platform drifted close, chasing a decoy destroyer, she launched. Fighters poured out. Noah Ellis at the lead. Blue Squadron engaging, targeting shield generators. They flew low through the rocks, hit the platform from blind angles. Missiles struck. Shields dropped. Follow-up torpedoes gutted the core. The platform exploded in slow motion. Vorath tried the same trick on the moon. They landed elite shock troops, armored, fast, armed with plasma lances. Sergeant Lucas Grant met them at the outer perimeter. His Marines had prepared trenches, automated turrets, minefields. Lucas waited until the enemy entered the kill zone. Fire, he said. Guns roared. Mines detonated. Vorath warriors fell in groups. The survivors pushed forward. Lucas led a countercharge. His squad moved like shadows, flanked, encircled, cut down. Sophia Lane ran between positions. She carried stretchers, dragged wounded to safety. A plasma lance grazed her arm. She hissed in pain, kept moving, patched a Marine's chest wound under fire, kept him alive long enough for evac. In space, the human destroyers danced. They struck Lyran carriers, pulled back, struck again. One destroyer took heavy damage. Engines died. Crew fought to keep weapons online. They fired until the last gun went dark. Ethan Cole saw it happen. Rescue shuttle, now. A small craft launched, flew through fire, pulled the crew out, not one left behind. The enemy pressed harder. A Vorath dreadnought closed on Liberty's Edge, guns blazing. Ethan ordered a risky move. Full reverse, into the debris cloud. Use it for cover. Target their engines when we emerge. The cruiser backed into the wreck field. Enemy fire missed, grazed asteroids instead. Then Liberty's Edge burst out the other side. Close, too close. Railguns fired point blank. The dreadnought's engine shattered. It drifted helpless. One by one the enemy formations broke. Platforms fell. Carriers burned. Drones scattered without hive control. Ships jumped away in disorder. When the last enemy signature vanished, silence returned. Human losses were higher this time. A carrier crippled. 2 destroyers gone. Many fighters lost. On the moon, graves were dug. Simple markers, names carved in metal. Ethan Cole spoke to the fleet. We held. The colonies are safe. Repairs start tomorrow. Rest when you can. No speeches about glory. Just facts. Kale watched the humans work again. Clear wreckage, patch domes, help rebuild homes. He saw Ethan Cole walk the colony streets, talk to children, carry boxes, listen to old people tell stories. Kale opened his log, wrote slow. 3rd engagement, Valara Drift final defense. Human forces repelled coordinated Vorath-Lyran assault. Outcome, human victory, enemy routed. Observations. They changed tactics when the enemy changed. They risked more to save their own. They fought harder when tired. I saw a captain risk his ship to save a drifting crew. I saw a doctor run through plasma fire to reach the wounded. I saw a sergeant bury friends, and then keep building defenses. They do not fight because they love war. They fight because they hate letting the helpless suffer. The stars stay silent around them, because when humans charge, the rest of us remember how fragile our courage really is. Kale closed the file. He looked at the stars outside his viewport. He no longer wondered why they were shunned. Kale Vorin did not sleep after the first battle. He stayed at his console, eyes fixed on the feeds. The human fleet had not left Valara Drift. They stayed. They repaired damaged hulls with quick welding drones. They sent shuttles to the moons, brought food, medicine, water purifiers. No speeches, no flags planted, just work. The Vorath and Lyran had pulled back to regroup. Kale knew they would return. Pride demanded it. The hive mind of the Vorath could not accept defeat by softskins. The Lyran Council would not allow their golden fleet to run twice. Scouts reported movement. New signatures, larger, more ships. They gathered at the edge of the sector, preparing a hammer blow. Kale switched channels, listened to human open comms. Captain Ethan Cole spoke to his captains. We expect a counterattack in 40 hours. They will come heavy. We hold the line here. No retreat. That is the mission. Commander Olivia Kane added details. Vorath will swarm again. Bigger drone clouds. Lyran will bring their siege platforms. Long-range beams. We split forces. Carriers stay back. Draw them in. Cruisers and destroyers meet the swarm. Ground teams reinforce the domes. Lieutenant Noah Ellis laughed once over the link. Sounds like fun. No one else laughed, but no one argued. Kale felt strange. These humans planned like the fight was already won inside their heads. They did not boast. They did not complain. They prepared. 40 hours later the enemy arrived. First came the Vorath. A massive hive fortress jumped in close. Bigger than any Kale had seen. It opened bays. Drones poured out. Not thousands, tens of thousands. A black tide that blocked starlight. The cloud moved as one. A living storm. Behind it, the Lyran fleet formed up. 10 siege platforms, each one a floating fortress. Long barrels glowed with charging energy. Golden hulls shone cold. Ethan Cole's voice came calm on open channel. All ships, execute Phase 1. Liberty's Edge moved forward. Not fast, steady. The rest of the fleet followed. They formed a thin wall between the enemy and the colonies. No fancy tricks, just bodies in the way. The Vorath swarm hit first. Drones slammed into human point defenses. Explosions lit space like fireworks. Human guns never stopped. Turrets tracked, fired, tracked, fired. Drones died fast, but more came. Always more. Captain Mia Lawson's carrier launched fighters. Noah Ellis led the first wave. His black craft dove straight into the cloud. Wingmates followed. They flew tight, too tight for most pilots. Missiles streaked. Lasers cut lines through the mass. A drone clipped Noah's wing. Sparks flew. He rolled, kept firing. His voice stayed light. Taking a little damage, still dancing. Human fighters lost 6 in the first minute. Vorath drones lost hundreds. The ratio was impossible. Yet the swarm pressed. On the moon, Sergeant Lucas Grant waited in the main colony dome. Civilians had been moved to inner shelters. Marines held the outer walls. Lucas stood at a firing slit, rifle ready. His armor showed new scratches from the last fight. "Here they come," he said. Vorath drop pods rained down. They hit hard. Warriors burst out, blade arms raised. They charged the walls. Lucas's squad opened fire. Precise bursts. Vorath fell in rows, but they kept coming, climbing over bodies, using their dead as ramps. Lucas signaled. Flank teams moved. They hit from the sides. Grenades burst. Electromagnetic pulses fried Vorath's shields. Warriors slowed. Marines pushed forward. Close combat. Blades met blades. Armor cracked. Blood mixed with oil. Sophia Lane worked in the field hospital behind the lines. She moved fast, bandaged wounds, gave pain shots, kept soldiers breathing. A Marine came in missing half his leg. She stopped the bleed, called for evac. Never raised her voice, never panicked. Outside, Lucas took a hit. Blade cut through shoulder plate. He dropped to one knee, fired back, dropped his attacker, stood again, kept fighting. In space, the Lyran siege platforms opened fire. Beams lanced across the void. Liberty's Edge took the first hit. Shields flared. Section of hull glowed red. Ethan Cole gave an order. Compensate. Bring secondary guns online. Target the nearest platform. The cruiser turned. Railguns spoke. Heavy rounds crossed space. Hit the platform. Armor cracked. Internal explosions followed. The platform listed. The other platforms fired again. Beams raked human lines. 2 destroyers lost power. Drifted. Crews fought fires inside. Mia Lawson's carrier moved closer. Launched more fighters. Her voice cut through. All wings. Focus the platforms. Take them one at a time. Noah Ellis led his squadron in low. They skimmed debris fields. Used wreck pieces for cover. Emerged close to a platform. Missiles flew. Torpedoes struck. The platform's guns went silent. One by one, the siege platforms fell. Human ships paid a price. A cruiser burned. Escape pods launched. Fighters vanished in flashes. But the line held. The Vorath High Fortress tried a final push. It advanced. Drones formed a spear shape, aimed at Liberty's Edge. Ethan Cole stood on his bridge. Olivia Kane beside him. Full power to forward shields. All weapons on the fortress. Fire everything. The ship shook. Guns roared. Beams, rail rounds, missiles. The fortress took hits. Armor peeled. Core exposed. A lucky shot from Noah's squadron struck deep. The fortress bloomed into white light. Shockwave rolled outward. Drones lost control, crashed into each other, fell apart. The remaining enemy ships stopped, then turned. Engines burned. They jumped away. Fast. Silence returned to space. Kale stared at his screens. Wreckage drifted everywhere. Human ships burned in places, but most still moved. They began rescue operations. Shuttles searched for pods. Marines secured the moons. Doctors treated the wounded. Ethan Cole spoke on open channel. Short words. To all colonies, the threat is over. We stay until you are safe. Then we go. No victory parade. No demands. Kale opened his log again. His hands felt heavy. Second engagement. Valara Drift. Human forces faced combined Vorath-Lyran counterattack. Outcome: human victory. Enemy retreat. Observations: they did not run when the swarm came. They did not break when beams hit. They paid in blood, but never stopped. Kale added more. I saw a fighter pilot fly into death with a joke on his lips. I saw a doctor fight with a rifle she barely knew. I saw a sergeant stand after his shoulder was cut open. They charge because someone must. They hold because no one else will. The stars stay quiet around them. Not because humans are cruel, but because humans remind every species what true resolve looks like. And that reminder is heavy. Kale closed the log. He looked out the small viewport. Stars shone cold and distant. He understood now. The galaxy shunned humans, not out of hate, out of something deeper. Fear of what they might inspire, if others started to charge too.